by the TV. I'll turn it off.
Welcome to Tuesday at 7, everybody. We are returning. We've been here at the Manly Pad several times, but we're returning after an interview over 5 years ago.
Yes.
Crazy to think about.
Right before COVID, too, like a month before.
Yeah, right before
I had no
COVID.
idea that was going to hit.
Yeah. But the main reason we want to gather here is, first of all, shine some light on the Pretentious Cleveland Portrait Artists. It's a Cleveland creative cornerstone.
Yeah.
20 years.
20 years.
20 years.
Yeah, coming in June here. Yeah, it's an amazing thing. And boy, COVID changed everything. And you changed everything. Boy, from going just in live, people only there drawing to international following now.
Yeah, crazy.
I mean, we're not thousands or thousands, but just to have people all around the world be able to join in and draw with us is really cool.
Yeah. So if what we're going to do at some point is we're going to maybe link the first interview, because we get into some really great historical stuff, about the Manly Pad, about where it started. But we know we want to give folks just a few minutes to sign on here. But we usually start off our Tuesday 7 interviews that if you were with us a couple weeks ago, we were with Tony and Evangeline out at the Medina County Recovery Center. They're rebooting that program, and there were like 13,500 people who watched that interview.
Yeah, that's a great turnout.
Yeah, great turnout. Thank you guys for sharing. Thank you to the community for supporting, a great program. But if you shared that interview,
what are you offering?
Its name is in the chat. They are offering. They're scheduled to open up in July. It's going to be 2 VIP dinners, and so there's going to be some real value for whoever's name gets chosen.
All right,
choose one there, Tim?
Let's take this one.
All right, and the winner is. Let's see, I took off my glasses.
It's
Victor Melanagno. Thank you, Victor. You know Victor, right? Do you know Victor as well?
No.
He's a great artist who does the rat fink stuff.
Yes, I'm friends with him on Instagram.
Yep.
Yeah. I love that stuff.
Great artist. Well, thank you, Victor, for sharing. Thank you to Tony and to Evangeline, and good luck for that reboot to the Medina County Recovery Center and everything you guys got going on. Borrow upon our community anytime. But we're here to talk about Pretentious Cleveland Portrait Artists.
Yes.
And what we want to do is, from time to time, right, you get a cancellation.
Yeah, I do.
Does that ever ring up like a need for a model? Well,
sure. Actually, the way we work, because we've been around so long, we're scheduled months in advance. Right now, here we are at the beginning of June. If somebody wanted to sign up and pose, I would have to schedule them in November or December. Those are only 2 months open.
Gotcha.
We do get cancels, but they're easy to fill. But it seldom happens, but it does.
Yeah. Well, here's what we're going to do. We want to encourage folks to share. When you share this, we're going to draw a name next week, and we're going to put your name on the list.
We can schedule.
We'll schedule.
Yeah.
We'll schedule.
November at worst.
Yep. We'll put you in November at worst. And I know what folks are thinking. They're like, how could I ever sit in front of a group and be broadcast internationally? And we're gonna encourage you to do so, and because it really is. And I want to talk about posing too, but it really is a bucket list item that you never knew was on your list.
Yeah,
you never knew it existed.
Now, for a lot of the people that don't know exactly what that entails, we're a little bit different than the other groups.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that follow us and know me and draw with us are going to be bored by this. But when people sit for us, they get all the portraits from the artist in the room because they are earning it by sitting. It's a 3-hour session. It's not easy. It goes from 7:30 to 10:30 on a Friday night. There's 3 15-minute breaks. But it's pretty interesting and a unique thing to do. And since COVID hit and Roger saved us from the ashes by videotaping his family, him and Beth working together to keep us with a model every week and then videotaping it on our group page, we are able to stay alive. But now we're also online. So besides getting the drawings from the people that are drawing in the room and meeting them and that interaction, you also have people watching you from around the world, and the ones from the States are kind enough, most of them are kind enough to send me their drawings like every 7-8 weeks to make it feasible, so that the models get a second batch of portraits like 4 months later. And amazing talent. And on top of that, they get to see drawings from people, like I say, like the next day they see drawings by the fabulous Idle George, who lives in Scotland, or Maria Gavirio from Malaysia, or
Carol
UK.
Carol Pang, who joined us from Singapore. She joined us during COVID. Like all of a sudden, we started seeing faces show up all over the world.
I haven't seen her in ages, but she did it with the eye makeup.
The eye makeup on both paper and sometimes on her leg. And we're gonna do a little bit of a revisit to how that all happened 20 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, the start of it.
Yeah, so start of it. Give us a quick, high level start of Pretentious Cleveland Portrait Artists.
I actually wanted to do portraiture for a living, but I realized portrait artists don't do it from life. They have to copy photos. So, man. So that's why I switched to do plein air painting, because it was live and I could sit in the streets and paint. It was, feasible to try to sell that. But at the same time, I want to do portraits. I want to get better with portraits. So me and Brian Pierce, who started the group with me, it was his idea. Let's talk to these people from this bar we go to. It's like an art bar, the Literary Cafe. It was run by Linda Baldizzi, Andy Timothy, a great couple. It was a great setting, very unusual. The bar was only open Thursday, Friday, Saturday from 9 at night to 1 in the morning. Strange hours. In fact, Brian asked Linda if we could draw in the back, and she was very gracious and let us. So we would offer the patrons, if you'll sit for these 3 hours, you could have our drawings. There's no money exchange. It's just casual. But it grew and it grew. And ironically, in the early days, the people that sat actually sat for 2 sittings from 10 at night to 1 in the morning. Once for the face, once for the hands. And I didn't have the fabulous artists from Murray Hill and the other ones around me then. And I didn't always finish all the drawings, but that was quite a challenge to draw during those hours. But then after about a year and a half, the Murray Hill group came in with Juan Quierte and Larry Zuzik and Howard Collier and Jeff Santala and Jack Float and all these fabulous artists. And then it was really becoming a cool thing to do, unique thing to do.
Yeah.
And at that time, we got Fred Bidwell, who was his last day as the interim director at the Cleveland Museum of Art. He sat for us. And this tiny little room, we actually had like 19 people. We broke a record for there. But it was great. Then eventually, after 10 years, Andy and Linda moved to Florida. And we had to resettle. And instead of being the Pretentious Tremont Artists, which we were known as then, we had to adapt to become the Pretentious Cleveland, and thanks to Larry, Portrait Artist.
Now, we all have our opinions, but my opinion is there's nothing pretentious about you guys. But where did pretentious come from?
All right. Larry hates hearing this story, but he won't be watching us, so that's good. Because he hears it too many times. Why we were deciding to draw in the back of this bar, I overheard another artist. It was an artist bar. There's artists coming in. They could afford to live here. It was a crapshoot, like $200 to live down here a month. And I overheard another artist. He's talking to his friend in a private conversation, and he's explaining to him that and here at Tremont, there's a lot of pretentious artists. I said, well, that's perfect. That's perfect. That's what we'll be.
The pretentious
Tremont.
Tremont.
Just casual fun. We're just drawing. We're just, that's how it came around.
When you first gathered, Brian Pierce, yourself, some of the other artists, the Murray Hill, great artists that joined. Do you have any idea? Did you have a vision where you're like, yeah, you're going to let this run for a year, 2 years, 10 years? Had you any idea that 20 years?
We're just enjoying the moment, and like each week is a new challenge. And even now it's the same way. It's not like we rock the world or anything, but in our little world, this is a lot of fun. There's a lot of excitement, a lot of challenge.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of folks here that might be joining. What we want to do is encourage you to share. There's a share button in the bottom left-hand side. It said arrow. When you hit that share button, we know it, and your name will be put in a drawing next week. And if your name is drawn, we're gonna reach out and we're gonna get your name on the I call it the pretentious poser or the sitter list, right?
Yes. And if they don't want to sit, they can get somebody from their family or a friend to sit for them. We're reserving a spot for you.
Yeah. If you're an artist and you have been part of portrait or life drawing what typically happens, I mean, at least in my experience, was you hire somebody.
Yeah.
And you hope that there's enough artists to show up where y'all can flip in $5, you know. But if there's a small show, you're like, I'm planning on paying $20, you know.
Yeah, normally $10 to $15 is a going rate. I don't know if the Institute charges 20 or some others might, or Bay Arts might. I don't know. But it's the common thing with all artists getting steady practice from the model is based on the figure. It's based on new drawing, modeling drawing. It's not based on the portrait. And when you do that, you're limited to the amount of models you can get to sit for you. So most groups will have a stable of models, maybe 8, maybe 15. Juan could tell you more because he knows them all.
He knows them all.
Yeah, he's got a more extended list. But you're gonna repeat those models because that's just the way it is. But doing portraits, it like opened up a whole new world. We're not just dealing with these people that are willing to take their clothes off. We're dealing with the whole people living around us that say, hey, this sounds like a fun idea.
Yeah.
And this way, they're working to earn the portraits. We're not just giving them something for free. You sit here, and you sat, and Beth sat, you sit for a 3-hour session. That is work. The first sitting is 45 minutes staring at a TV. Unless you're at Waterloo Arts, then you're staring out a window. In Artful Cleveland, you stared at a little fish on the wall or a painting on the wall, and it was not enjoyable as far as that goes. But the end result was hopefully worth the wait.
I would imagine that if you were to guess, how many pieces of artwork does a sitter, one of the models receive? Is it 20, 25? Is it more than that?
I'd say about, with the people there, you get about now a small amount would be 8, 9, and a larger amount would be about 15 live. And then the ones you get online are probably about 15, 18 or so. Yeah, it varies. Yeah. As far as the drawings you see done of you, they'll probably see about 60 to 80. Yeah. Well, we had, I'm trying to think of her name now. Lotus pose, a real young 11-year-old adorable girl pose. She got over 90 drawings done. I mean, everybody came out of the woodwork to draw her. Yeah, you never know. And it's also time related. If it's in the summer, people might be on vacations. Artists might not be there. In the winter or the other offs, months, I got nothing to do. I'll be drawing.
20 years is quite a stretch. And I know that Brian was, when we interviewed and when we kind of collaborated, right, which is just trying to, bring your event online,
to keep us
5
alive.
years ago, keep you alive. Brian was very involved. Is Brian still involved?
He actually moved down to Florida, but they still come up here during the summer, and he actually works at a golf course, Sleepy Hollow. But he's not here as much as we like him to. But he's got his own life and things going on.
Yeah.
He does join us, and he does keep in touch. If people do follow us and see those wonderful marquees, which are modeled coming up, notice Andrea Shepis. Brian creates all those marquees for us. So he's still in touch with us. He's still with us.
Yeah.
Those little decals we have, the Pretentious sticker, he does all those. And from time to time, he'll come in and grace us with his appearance.
What a great artist.
Yeah, he is. Beautiful graphic artist.
And it takes time. It takes a small tribe to keep this thing going, right? Because I know it's Tim Herron. And then there's Brian, and sometimes I see others kind of stepping in.
Dwayne Dixon has done the lights forever now, as far as I can remember. Goes back a couple of years now, and he doesn't have to do them here, thankfully for him, because I got lights, studio lights. But that's a lot of work, a lot of effort. And then when we go to Waterloo Arts, these guys I draw with, Alejandro, Juan, all these guys, they'll jump in and push the chairs to the back and save me all that trouble and try to help out.
So a team to put it together. Where is it? You talked about the beginnings, but the gatherings have moved around Cleveland.
I like to be what I actually was hoping for all along was being a location where people could walk by or actually stumble into us or come in and watch us draw. Now, after COVID hit, even during or before COVID, we were at Artful Cleveland, which is a wonderful place. We're very thankful for all the kindness they did show us and let us draw there. But it was a closed room where for security reasons, you had to keep it locked. You couldn't leave it open. But we're at Forest City Brewery. That's open. People come in and they can stumble into us while we're drawing and be surprised, or Waterloo Arts, or even now with my studio here in Tremont, I can leave the door unlocked or open and people could stumble, upon it. In fact, on the second Friday, they have art they have Walkabout. It used to be Art Walk, but most of the artists got kicked out when it gentrified. They had to move out. So they changed it to Walkabout. But
It's Walkabout.
yeah. So.
And your studio, I passed this, over and over before we had ever met.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so we are at the Manly Pad.
Yeah.
And, but it's, although if anybody were to walk by, they'd go, man, that's an incredible gallery. But this is your studio too, right? And this is where you do a lot
I
of
live
these
up
large
above.
things.
This is down here. And for those that don't know it, the name came from the condition of the building when I bought it in the winter of 87, 88 for $14,500. It's a 2-story brick storefront house. It's got leaded glass windows. It's got a gutted house in the back that came with it. But, it also had thousands of roaches. The sewer was backed up in the basement, so just walking in here, it's like Muhammad Ali sort of jabbing your nose when you're trying to breathe. And kids were breaking in on the second floor, climbing a tree, and they were shitting in the bathtub, so the bathtub was halfway filled with human poop. So it's the Manly Pad. But that was 37 years ago.
Yeah.
But for me, it was perfect. I mean, I'll take it, man. It's cheap. I can afford it. It's got a studio. It's got high ceilings. That's what I want.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Home sweet home.
And your work, I mean, your paintings, there's going to be some folks that go, Tim Herron, I might not, right off the bat recognize his name, but when they see your paintings, they'll recognize your work.
I don't know. I hope. That'd be nice. That'd be hopefully.
You work big.
I normally do. This spring, it's a little smaller than normal. Those are 2 I did this spring, and normally they're smaller than I normally work. 4 foot by 2 foot, because I've been working, 3 by 4 or 5 by 4 or something like that.
Your models, and I know that when we talked, most of your painting is done in plein air, or you have the models sit.
Yes, everything live. I try to do everything live.
Why is that?
Because I think that's my best chance to own a piece, to make it come from me and not be a representation of a photo. And there's some artists do an absolutely fabulous job of reproducing a photo, whether it be photorealism or as reference to get their finished piece.
Yeah.
I can't go there. I can't go there. I try to make the painting look too much like every aspect of the photo without doing photorealism. It just looks sloppy. So I'm better transferring all this information through my eyes onto my canvas or onto my paper. And I love it much better.
And you take, and not only portraiture or having models, you go out and paint the city.
Yeah, I told you I like the plein air. I like the plein air a lot because I can sit out there. Unfortunately, I'm not as fast or quick as many of the plein air painters who just do this beautiful work in one day, like Jeff Santala or Jeff A. Evans. He works with gouache, Jeff with watercolor, and they can go out there in one day and get these beautiful scenes, and they're just great. I have to sit out there 7 to 15, 20 times, to finish a piece, 2 hours each. But I do enjoy it a lot. And I like now that I've really spread out, I've gone to other cities, because I started out in just Tremont. Then I was Larchmere and Coventry, the kind of cool little areas, with some nice trendy storefronts and windows and that. Then I moved all the way east. I went into East Cleveland. I went into Glenville. I went into Mount Pleasant. I like off East 100, just south of Cedar, between Cedar and Quincy. There's Jesse Owens' house. And I had to look it up. And it's the first house south of Cedar. And there's actually photos of him with kids on the porch. So I was out there 7 times. And then the last time I went, they had actually cut down a tree and a bush on the side and put a house next to it. So that scene is never there again, except for in my painting. Yeah. And then a couple streets down, there's Langston Hughes on East 88. And I was there 14 times for that. It was a 3-story house. It's my belief he lived on the 3rd floor. And right next to it, there's a reading garden for Langston Hughes. Pretty cool. Then you go down to Quincy, and there's Caramoo House. I was probably there 14 times for that. Yeah. That's right out in the sun. I had to have my umbrella attached behind me. And that's a big canvas there. So you're talking like 6 by 5 or something like that. So I had, I always weigh them down with a weight so they don't blow away. And then you go over by East 123rd and Imperial Avenue. I did Ray's Sausage. And that's right next to Anthony Soule's house, who was the serial killer. I thought it was historically it needed to be done. And I did get a chance to meet the owner of Ray's Sausage, Renee, a wonderful woman. And she told me stories about the incident. Just the whole, you know, I even was able, thanks to my friend Lou Muntz, I was actually able to go back on Google Maps and get the ghost house. So in my painting, I was able to put the ghost house. There's a beautiful shrine there now for the ladies. I was able to put that in there. And while I'm standing out there painting this, you know, it's like 7, 8, 11, probably about 11 to 14 sittings. People would stop by. They always do to talk to me. And I'd have, if they knew any of the ladies, I had them sign the back of the painting. And Renee signed the back. Beautiful penmanship about the history of, you know, Ray's Sausage and it started and the people involved. And crazy. I like to go over to Glenville. I was Superman House. I think that's Glenville. That's on Kimberly Avenue. That was about 14, 18 sittings. I was over on Shaw Avenue. I did the house across from the East Cleveland Fire Department, an Ochre house. I did my buddy Courtney Miller's house on Shawview Avenue. That was 7 sittings. Around just a little farther, there's Hayden, Gas and Go at Hayden and Shaw. I was there like 11, 14 times. This one over here, I just did this year. That's East 125th and Brackland Avenue, just south of St. Clair. And that's Glenville.
Now this one, this large painting here, right to Beth's left.
Yeah, that was fun. That got kicked out of 3 or 4 shows I tried to get in, and one was a show with just my work, a solo show. What it was, I wanted to get this Flatiron Cafe because it's such an historical place.
Yeah.
As you can see, that canvas is huge. I learned it to be too difficult to take it on site and paint. So I went with my drawing pad and I sketched and I sketched and I sketched the building, the bridge, the building to the left, the building to the right, which I think is Larry Hustler's place on the right there. And there's a gas station in the far distance and the turn in the road. And then I went to my buddy Ron Naso's house and I painted it. And as you paint it, you see things, you know, sometimes, you know, you just have 5 people know for I put UFOs and things and just, you get bored, you have fun with it. And I put a UFO in there, and I love the thought of a UFO picking up a truck. So I have a UFO picking up the truck. And then I put a Trump mural on the wall that says no illegal aliens. It's supposed to be like 30 years in the past. So it's an old dusty mural. And the truck's being picked up as a rebel flag, and the lights are shining on the mural. And down below, you see there's kids, and there's aliens dressed as human costumes. And it's December 23rd, 2053. The Junior Muslim Safety Patrol was able to save all the patrons of the Flatiron Cafe. Unfortunately, they were unable to help poor Randy.
What a storyline.
Yeah.
And you've been catching iconic places around Cleveland.
This place right over here is gone now.
Oh, this one up here?
Yeah, that's actually Fairfield Market. And this deals with the drive-by shootings where younger kids, younger and younger, are getting guns. So it's a K-3 drive-by, kindergarten to 3rd grade. And he's driving by and there's Mark diving back into his store from kids doing a drive-by.
And sometimes if you hadn't captured that, right, that location, it probably would have been forgotten.
Could be, yeah. Except for a few. You know, it's funny too because, excuse me for the coffee. I pride myself on working from life. I really do. But there are times you got to work from photographs. And this is one of those times because it was a winter scene. It was a big canvas at the time. And I was just starting to do the plein air. So it's more like Norman Rockwell where you get different photos and you compile and you do it. This was the only piece I've ever gotten the Butler out of the 20, 50 years I've been trying to get in the Butler. The one I copied using photographs. All these others, I put my blood, sweat, and tears in there. No, but thanks.
You've had some iconic models.
Oh, for the Pretentious Artists.
Pretentious Cleveland Portrait Artists, right?
Your buddy.
Yeah, I mean, we've had
Neil Zaza.
We had Neil Zaza. He was
Steve
there.
Sens loved Neil Zaza. That was great for him.
I think he was listening to some of Neil's, guitar noodling while
he still does.
working.
Yeah, with Buckethead.
Yeah. Bucket's right.
Yeah, Buckethead. And we had one of our favorites actually is Mary Doria Russell. She was like the first one we got. I asked her. It's funny. My girlfriend Linda was prolific reader and told me that, this book I read, I just love this book. And I found out this author lives in Lyndhurst. And I reached out to her. She goes, yeah, okay, I'll post for you guys. And she was wonderful. And she was one of the few that came back a second time 10 years later. But at Artful Cleveland posed again. And yeah, for like Sue Hood, she loved that because she loved Mary's writing and some of the other people. So everybody had certain models they enjoyed. But we had a lot of good ones, yeah.
And you had Les Roberts, too. Talk about
Les
Cleveland
Roberts
author.
twice.
Yeah.
He was another one that came 10 years later.
Yeah.
Peter Lawson Jones, he was fun. He was exciting. He used to be a county commissioner, and he's now an actor. And he does acting for a living, and he was in the Tom Hanks movie, Otto. So, yeah. He liked it so much he had his son Bose, so that was good.
Yeah. The range of your models, youngest, was that one that
11.
11?
Yeah, she snuck in under the bear. We didn't see her ID in time because normally they got to be teenagers.
Yeah. But the fact that there were so many artists that are like, we just want to.
The surprising thing was when COVID first hit, like when we had Grafton Nunes, who was the president of the Institute of Art, he posed at Artful on the second floor. We had over 30 artists there, about 33, 34. And at that time, you got whoever was there. So all those drawings he got. Then COVID hit. Bam. And so the first week when we were dead in the water, I had people do self-portraits. So everyone did a self-portrait, send it in. Second week, Roger and Beth saved us. And they took it over by filming their family one at a time until me and Brian Pierce could learn how to handle our own film like a little 2-year-old and got going. But at that time, we lost half of our artists. Half our artists did not want to work from a video, did not want to work from a photo if it was provided. That's not what they came for. And I'm with them too, because that's kind of how I work from life, but I run the show, so I can't be that way. So all of a sudden, Karma steps in, and I find a half that, hey, I'm fine with that. I just want to draw, man. You give me some help. Give me a model. Let me draw. And then in steps Bob Pauley from Loveland, Ohio, around Cincinnati, and Dick Close from Cincinnati. Amazing artists. Sarah Warman Lane from Bellingham, Washington. And our most lovable Louis Grosso from Mayfield right here. I mean, these guys just stepped in and said, oh, this is great. Give us models. Give us models. So generous to send them back. And it just makes it more magical.
Yeah, yeah. What is your oldest model?
We've had a couple in the 80s.
My mom was in her 80s.
Yeah, your mom would be one.
84, 83, 84 at the time.
Yeah, I think my brother Pat's mother-in-law, Ann, I think she was 86. I'm guessing. Get little naps in here now. Yeah, 87. We had a couple like that. Alexandra, our artist from France, her mother posed. Her name, but she was there too. She was her age was around there, 85 or something.
And I imagine everything in between.
Oh, everything.
From every imaginable hairstyle, face, features. I would imagine. Do you find that people tune in? For challenging. Is it hair or a hat? Do people wear things that kind of help that tell their story? What are the models doing? Do you think?
A lot of times the models ask me, what should I wear? I say, well, wear what you'd like to be seen in. Now, personally, for artists, we don't like heavily detailed outfits because we're trying to draw the face, and all of a sudden we got this huge detail we got to jump into, so that scares us. Well, but anyway, go ahead, wear what you want to wear. That's kind of how it is. Yeah. They're just like that.
Yeah. But then what, and this may have been going on prior to when we collaborated there in about COVID time. People are not just drawing. I mean, sometimes they're drawing, right? Sometimes they're sketching. Sometimes there's oil pastel. Sometimes it's like what mediums, and has that shifted here more recently?
The mediums run the range. Alejandro always uses oil. Yeah. So you got oil. And if Jeff A. Evans shows up, he does gouache. Chris Greco, he does oil. Then me and Larry use pastel, and Dwayne does gouache, and I'm sure there's watercolors here, like Nancy Lick, she uses watercolor.
Susan's
Steve Sens, he's usually uses a mellow point. It'd be better to let Steve explain mellow point, even though I've heard it 100 times. Yeah, it's amazing. And those who don't know Steve Sens, his portraits are tiny. They're not big. So the whole time you see him work on your portrait, you go, oh man, he's another guy. You see him, whoa, what's this? You go, holy smokes.
Yeah. I love that wide range. Sometimes when, I think that when we had our family sit digitally,
yeah.
At first, we got someone,
Sarah might be watching, so if this wasn't you, correct me, but I think Sarah did of Jay, we had a quilted, like she did a portrait in quilting material.
That would sound like her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and someone...
The master of many mediums.
Oh my goodness. And then I think there was another one of Jay that was a clay sculpture.
Some sculpted, yeah.
I don't know. Did
she
do that?
No, that wasn't Sarah. Yeah.
I don't think that one was Sarah.
Yeah, Jack Float does sculpture, but I don't know that he did one.
I don't remember who did it, but I have the photo of it. We didn't get the actual sculpture. I'm trying to think. There was something. Oh, somebody had painted was Delaney and Luke, and it was like black plastic.
Oh yeah.
Something, and they did an acrylic painting on it. They were big too, and I can't remember what it was, and they were.
Let's tag that artist. I mean, it was.
I'd have to go back on the. We have the files and see who did it.
That's still our treasures. Like the portraits that we have for that are, in a box, carefully put away. Like those are treasures that we will never give up.
And some of them are up on our walls, and some of them rotate on our walls too, including
much better than in a box.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
We can't put them all.
Larry actually, one of the breaks, we held our little dog who had since passed. But Larry grabbed that and did a little, dog.
Well, Larry's our wild card. He's one of a kind.
Yeah.
He's when you have young ladies or children, he's amazing. He just does these beautiful, quick little drawings, and they're just gorgeous.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, the photo that you did of me, Tim, is
you mean a drawing or photo?
I'm sorry, the drawing. The drawing that you did of me is I use it as
was it the one as a zombie?
No, it was the one for my sitting. So it was, but I use that as a digital photo at work.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah, so whenever.
Although the one of him as his ghost character, that gets pulled out, like that's matted and framed, and that gets hung up from September through the end of October every year. So everyone who walks in sees the Tim Herron Roger ghost on the wall.
How did we get to that one? Did you pose with outfits and we were drawing them or something?
There was a Tuesday at 7.
Yeah, it was a Tuesday at 7.
Oh, okay.
And it was kind of COVID time, and I was running out of some guests, and it was hard to get,
But did I draw you then, or what?
Yeah. You drew it from photo.
Oh, okay.
You drew it from a photo. Yeah.
All right.
Incredible work.
You surprised? Yeah, because I don't think we knew you were even doing it, and I think you just brought it over.
Just showed up. Yeah.
Some I must saw the photos and this looks cool. We'll do something like that.
And we'll
those images of you as a pirate or whatever, zombie, they're all pretty great.
They're we're
you get master makeup artist now.
We've got a lot of cool friends that do cool things, and we get invites to do cool things alongside them. Yeah. So it's been a great run. So 20 years. If my math is close, that's about 1,000 models.
Hard to say. In the beginning, we did let people pose more than once. Some pose like 4 or 5. We're in the back of a pub, and we need to pay somebody to pose.
And you've posed.
I mean, I've posed a lot. Yeah. Back then, we didn't have a calendar. I had a calendar, but not in the early days so much. But now everything's scheduled. It's like I got to know who's up when next, get them ready. I touch base with people every month almost. You can be ready.
And that's a good reminder at the very bottom of your screen, there's an arrow. When you press that arrow, we know it, and you can share it to a friend, to your friend list, to a particular group. But when you share, we know. And next week, we're going to draw a name, and we're going to put you on the modeling list. And I know that you might be hesitant to sitting, but I'll tell you right now, this is on your bucket list. You just don't know it yet.
Let me get by. I'll get a folder of some of the drawings. We'll show them a couple examples.
Oh yeah, let's do that. That's a great idea. Can you get around here?
I ran into a cabinet or something with my knee the other day, so I'm limping a little bit until I walk a little bit. Then my knee gets warmed up.
Grab this here while you're. So these big envelopes. Are full of original artwork. Is that right, Tim?
Yeah.
And you have the model name on the front.
All right, we'll get the Lotus. We talked about Little Lotus. We'll get some of her drawings out here. We'll take a look at them. How's the lighting for you guys?
Good.
You want to turn that light to shine?
No, actually, we're good.
Oh, we're good? Okay.
Yeah, we are really good.
So when the models pose, they get the drawings from the people in the room. They're gone. You can't see them today unless you looked online. But these are the ones that are sent to me for their second batch. Now, I don't think I'll be able to show you every single one, but we'll see what we got here. Some might be wrapped up, but I don't want to unwrap them and cause a big mess.
Right.
Okay, here's one. This is Alejandro did another one. Or if he wasn't here, he sent one. Wow. Isn't that beautiful?
Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, this is... Oh, I'm sorry. I should recognize the style. That's Juan.
I was going to say,
Juan Quierte.
That's beautiful.
Very nice, Juan.
Clap, clap, clap.
This from Cincinnati is Dick Close.
Oh.
That is...
Dick Close, the master.
Yeah.
He sure is.
No, he lives out by Cincinnati, but occasionally he'll be out for the Lakewood fairs, when you have the booth set up, and he'll sell his. This is through the tissue. I think this is Sarah Warman Lang. I know it is.
And what's... you never know what you're going to get out of Sarah. It might be a little tin painting. It might be...
she does that. This is a drawing.
And so this drawing has traveled.
Yes.
Cross country.
Well, this is Bellingham, Washington. So, yeah.
Beautiful. Look at those colors.
I know people are thinking, I think I want to sit for the Pretentious Cleveland Portrait Artists. And if you share, we draw your name, we'll get you on that list.
Now, each model may get different artists drawing him. There's some that overlap. Like this is Bob Pauly from Cincinnati.
Mm.
He is so generous and kind. He's drawn just every single model that I can remember.
Yeah.
I mean, you do this and you have Christmas presents for your family members.
Okay, now this one I'd love to show you, but it's all wrapped up and I don't want to make a big mess of it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
This might be the one from John Skanicki or else Denny. They kind of wrap it together and it's very tight, charcoal, beautiful rendered drawing.
Yeah, yeah.
I wish I could show you, but I'd make a big mess. And this looks like our fabulous Lisa Hudson. If I can.
Wow.
Here.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. She lives in Lakewood.
Oh,
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful work.
stunning.
Now, has Lotus seen these? Because we should probably not tag her.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she's seen it? Okay.
As they come in, they see them that week.
That's
Okay.
true, 'cause you
Yeah.
post them, right?
Yeah, I post them.
Yeah.
And her mom posed for a 4x6 portrait. Josie Caswell.
Oh.
Yeah, so
In addition to the...
it was one of the reasons I knew them pretty well by then.
You catalog this work too, right?
I do. I have it on our website. The literaryycafeartist.com. And also on Facebook.
We'll tag that.
Yeah.
We'll tag that.
If somebody wanted to see the results, they could, if they're on Facebook, go to Tim Herron and it looks like a pope or a bishop, although I'm not religious. And if you go to albums, to the photo section, to albums, you'll see wall-to-wall models, each one different, wall-to-wall models. You tag on any of them, and you'll see all the drawings that they got. And for the last half year, I've been putting the cities they come from, because it is so widespread.
Yeah.
This is Pat Phillips. Pat Phillips is South Euclid. Pat Phillips and Nancy Lick are married, and like a power art couple.
Oh my goodness
Pat
gracious.
does these beautiful drawings.
That was one thing I loved, and was when we were getting the art, was getting to know the artists and recognizing the style as it came in.
Jolene McSorley, Grove City, Ohio.
Wow.
This is Jennifer. No, Jennifer.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Siegert. Jennifer Siegert. It's the middle name I was trying to remember. But she's new. I think that's part of the first batch she sent to me, which is great. Now, here you go. Here's your master, Louis Grasso.
There he is. We also had, it's great to see his work. We had a chance to go down and check out his artwork in his basement.
You?
Yeah,
So you saw his train set too?
Oh, yeah, we saw his train set as well.
He's big into trains.
Yep.
Him and his grandson Theo.
Yeah.
His grandson Theo knows every intricate part of the train. It blows you away. He's like 3 years old.
And I can't even imagine what somebody might invest.
Eileen Rockwell has always been with us for a while. She's actually a florist, but she enjoys doing the portraits with us and upping her skills. Nancy Notariani, she's Middleburg Heights. Nancy has like an office room down in Middleburg Heights where she teaches watercolor. You walk in there, you see all these desks like you might see in an office, like, the secretary's typing away. But instead, they're all working on their watercolor, and she's going around instructing them. It's beautiful work. So along the top of the walls, you'll see Nancy's work. Lori Lamb. This is North Olmsted. This looks like Janet Dodrell. Janet Dodrell's she's been blowing up. She's getting amazing. She's entered these shows. She entered a show in Toledo, I think, or somewhere on there. She won like $12,000 or something for best of show. Yeah, we're all proud and happy for her.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well deserved. Well deserved.
Getting the photos of her work or her work in, and we were always so
all
happy.
that hard work studying art paid off a little bit. At least at that time it did.
This is terrific.
This, I'm thinking, is David Heller's portrait. It's digital, so he takes a print and shows it.
And when people are joining online, often they're grabbing unexpected screenshots.
Louis Grasso does that,
Yeah.
When catch them in an off moment, when their hands are moving, their heads are, or like you saw with Lotus, their eyes are closed. Yeah, this is Janet Wade from Avon Lake. I believe she's going to be moving. Oh, here's Denny. I told you John Skinny. Here's Denny.
There it is.
Wow. And everybody has such a distinct
Oh yeah, you can
style.
tell Denny's work right away. It's amazing everything she fits into those lines.
I would like to have shown you John's, but I didn't want to tear the whole bag open.
No, that makes sense.
Deserve the piece.
Yeah.
This is Jack St. John.
Oh yeah.
Oh, well, let's see you get this tissue off.
Tim, this is not just an hour of effort per week. This is
Jack St. John. Bedford.
We have some of this work.
Along with Paula, his wife.
Yeah.
You put a lot of time and effort into this. For 20 years, you've been arranging models. You've been, navigating locations. Yeah. Now it's collecting artwork.
Now, I told you, I don't work from photos. I did draw Lotus. It was okay drawing. I know her mom real well. She's passed for the big one. I wanted to do a better one, so I did work from a photo to do this one, a Lotus. Give her another one.
Tim.
And a little UFO stencil on top was a stencil that her mother gave me for the painting I was doing of her.
Oh.
So you brought them together.
Yeah.
Of course.
Fantastic.
Yeah, beautiful work. And
Thank you for showing us.
So if any of your people want to sign up to pose, they have some idea what's going on.
it's really amazing. I remember that when I posed and when our family posed, there was I'm not even sure how to describe the emotion. It unexpected. I think maybe help me with this. As we would sit, and people started showing their in-process photos. Sometimes, at that time they were showing pictures of their office, their studio cats, or animals. And then all of a sudden the finished work started to show up. And so like Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, like all this phenomenal work would show up. And as a model, just watching it, you're just like, whoa. I mean, it's hard to describe the feeling, being a model and seeing this work show up from such.
It felt so personal.
Yeah.
Like, you're getting lovely artwork, but seeing the different styles and the different facets that each artist would do of one person and of yourself, and somebody caught this and somebody caught this. Like, it was much more personal than I expected.
I say this over and over. I'm surprised that more cities just don't do this. Yeah. Combine the community with the artists that need steady practice.
Yeah.
Because each city's got to have one or two artists that are good for portraits, and that's all you need. So the models will get something in return. Let me put this back.
And Cleveland isn't, having the Pretentious Cleveland Portrait Artists on Friday night is not one's only opportunity to draw. Thursday nights, you got drawing groups all over.
Yeah, most cities, Ohio. I would think, we do. Because Adrian Eisenhower has his great drawing group on Thursdays at the Hildebrand. And then you got Juan Quierte, who's been running Murray Hill for longer than we've been around.
Yeah.
So, and that's every Wednesday. And these are the nude, though. So you can draw the nude and you get to establish the core basic drawing principles.
Yeah, yeah. When COVID hit, we had called because we had interviewed you just a few weeks prior to COVID, and we're like, Tim, you need
a little help?
What's going to happen? What's going to happen? And I remember you saying, well, we're probably going to shut down for a few weeks.
Is that what I said?
Yeah, I remember, because none of us knew. We just assumed
how long it's going to take.
It could be a few weeks, and I remember you shared with me the first time we interviewed 5.5 years ago-ish that you hadn't missed many weeks. I don't remember what it was.
We've only missed a couple. A tremendous snowstorm, which didn't happen yearly. Every once in a while, like this last year, we didn't have a cancellation at all last winter. The winter before we did. We used that two of them, I think. And one of them we had a group friend of the Murray Hills. Catherine got married on a Friday and invited the whole troop. So I was like, she invited me when we went to a beautiful wedding, but it was like I didn't want to cancel, but we had to cancel. Nobody was there, so that had to cancel.
Yeah.
But other than that, we really don't cancel much. COVID just was like, wow.
Yeah, and we had no idea, and we pressed the button, and you were directing us because we had. I remember that as we had the model and the lighting, you're like, okay, I needed to move the lights to the right, move to the left because I want the, not too harsh of shadows. Yeah. And so you even directed those events, even though it was our phone, right, sitting on the tripod. Yeah. But
you see the end results of my laptop, what was showing on our group page, The Pretentious Artist. Yeah.
And what was crazy is you were
sitting here
with a big screen.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that.
It's funny. Eventually, me and Brian, with your help, were able to shift and have the model sit here. And I'm still sitting, drawing them from a screen. For some reason, the phone worked better in a dark scenario than a well-lit to draw scenario. So rather than draw while they're sitting, I'm drawing off a damn TV screen on the side while they're sitting in the room. Larry would come in once in a while. I think he would try to draw them in the dark, but it was hard to see your pad. It was just so dark.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that happened, because we draw with the normal lights everywhere else and it seems to work fine. Mm-hmm. But we're getting used to it, so stumbling, bumbling.
Yeah. During the time that we collaborated, what I mean we is, the Pretentious Cleveland Portrait Artists, all we did is lift a camera and put a face in front of it. You guys did all the work. there are people that were joining that had not done any portraiture at all. And I'm just thinking of in terms like Debbie.
Which happens now. Maybe not do none, but are very raw and want to get better. And we're perfect for that. You don't even have to show us a drawing. Just draw, throw it away, draw, throw it away. Just join us even in your quiet. There was a drawing I didn't show you from Alda. Alda has joined us now for a year or two, and she sends me the drawings every couple of weeks. But she's never posted a drawing. I've never met her. I just get the drawings and she sends them to me. So she's drawing away. And I tell people, if you want to get practice, just draw. Don't even tell us. Just draw and draw. And don't even tell us. Don't sell us, And if you like the piece and you're proud, post it on our page.
Yeah. I don't imagine that even if somebody only picks up, a pencil or pastels or the paints once a week and joins this group,
you're going to get better.
They're progressing.
Yeah.
They're progressing because 50-some portraits a year is pretty amazing. And the fact that you've created not just one portrait a week, but often you're creating multiple, right? Aren't you like when a model sits, at least in the early days, weren't you doing one or two different pieces of that model?
Oh, I only did that during COVID.
Okay.
Because I had photo reference I was working for, and I felt guilty because we didn't have the normal big crew of 30 people we had a week earlier.
Yeah.
So, just to make it worth their while, I'd do a couple more. After COVID ended and we were live, it just one.
Just one.
Yeah. I was doing 2 or 3 in those just to try to make up. The same time when COVID hit, we were doing portraits of the nurses and doctors at Metro and,
oh, that's right.
Yeah. And the clinic, Cleveland Clinic, Abu Dhabi, where we had our friend Kim, who was one of our members working down there, and some out in, the middle cities, countries. But like 120 portraits.
As we're kind of circling third, I'd imagine that there's some folks that have some questions. And even if you're not watching the live session and you watch the recorded session, that will post here for 30 days. It gets moved over to YouTube as well. But we encourage you to share this video, ask questions. We'll post some comments. We'll post, some different links so you could check out, the library of work.
You mentioned this before.
Yeah.
We actually are on YouTube now.
Oh,
I did not do it before. I know about copyrights or the models, but now we're doing it. And our models are, if they go on YouTube and go to the Pretentious Cleveland Portrait Artist, there's a little library of like 15 models that have posed for us, and their sessions are there to draw from. Yeah.
So as the work has found its way into shows, doing the medical, the first responders, the medical staff at Metro, there's been quite a bit of stir in the media over what you've done. I mean, because you had WVIZ, you get newspaper, different articles all the time that kind of hone in as folks hear about the story. It's one of interest.
We've had some media coverage, thankfully, yeah. Not so much in the art world, but in the media world, like Channel 3 or Channel 5 or Idea Stream. So we have had that kind of fortune.
And I understand, is there maybe a documentary that's being worked on?
I was hoping there was. Right now, the person I was working on ended up having had kidney transplant, had a hip transplant, and I don't know exactly how he's doing now.
Gotcha.
I think that's over with. I think he's recovering. He's doing okay. But I don't know if he's going to travel back to work on that or if he's moving forward or what. Yeah. He did interview Mary Doria Russell and a couple other people, so he's got some good footage. I'll have to see if I can get it from him if he's not going to use it.
Yeah.
I was surprised when we switched from live to online, and you were from the beginning. You were there. That's when we met. Louis Grasso I met. He said I reached out to see if he wanted to join us, and he joined us. But Bob Pauly, Dick Close, and Sarah Warman Lane, I don't know if I reached out to them. I don't know how they connected. Maybe Jeff Santala, Watercolors, knew him and told him about it or what.
We'd be interested.
I'd have to ask Sarah Warman Lane, how did you find out about it?
Yeah, maybe you could throw it right here in the comment. Yeah. That'd be kind of interesting, Sarah and Bob.
Because they weren't drawing beforehand. I don't think she was drawing with us when we were live.
Yeah.
I think they might have said at the time, kind of when we were babbling on, like they said, I found the link, like Bob, and didn't Bob Pauly's daughter or niece also
join us for a bit.
draw.
Well,
Yeah.
for once, I think.
But I
Yeah.
can't remember how he stumbled on the group.
Well, Bob, what? How did you find us? I imagine Bob's going to watch this.
Because I never met them till you guys came in,
Yeah.
and we were doing it online.
Yeah. What an amazing run, Tim. 20 years, 1,000 folks sitting in a chair. Your work, 1,000 pieces of artwork are in homes, and that's probably as a model, that is something that is, an incredible gift. But the artists who show up every week, their artwork is everywhere.
I know, no doubt, that myself and all the artists that draw with me, we're going to leave a legacy when we do go. I mean, how do you ignore a whole phase where this happened and the community was just over, just saturated with these drawings for individual people and memories.
Yeah.
Like a lot of our models, have passed since then. Somebody was talking about one today. Who's the councilman on the west side? His sister posed for us, and she passed away. And she was a well-known, prominent person. But, they leave behind all these wonderful drawings.
Yeah.
Dan Tranberg was a writer and an artist. He passed away, but hopefully he's got some beautiful, drawings and for the family.
Yeah.
Billy across the street was a model. He was a heroin addict, a wonderful guy, but he died from cancer. He had kicked heroin at the very end, but he died from cancer. And luckily, his family's got all these beautiful drawings.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Tim, we thank you for being. It really is a creative cornerstone of Cleveland. And you've rallied a group of incredible artists. We know them. We now call them friends because
they're part of your circle.
They're part of our circle, and you brought us together.
Bob Hawley says he found out through Dick Close, but he doesn't know who he found out.
Yeah, it might be Jeff Santala. I'm not certain.
That would make sense.
Yeah. Well, it is. It's been a blessing for us to have known you for 5 years. I've got to give a call out because I think the person who said you should probably connect with Tim Herron is Dot Schneider.
Oh, really?
Dorothy Schneider. We went to high school together.
That's
and I think she said, you should connect with Tim.
Dot posed for us at the literary a long time ago. And her husband posed. And her husband's brother, James, I did a 6x4 of him. He just had a show. Jim Lanza. And Christopher Lanza's Dot's husband.
Yeah.
Yeah, he posed and he...
And it's amazing how it moves. We know one person who said, "Hey, get to know Tim." We get to know Tim. It opens up a great opportunity. We collaborated for a few months there. You're the legacy that the group has left, that you have left, is quite deep and quite wide. And we hope that you guys follow the Pretentious Cleveland Portrait Artists and at least share, because I know that there's going to be a good number of people who watch this, a lot more than watched it first time around. But we'll also link the first interview too, because I'm sure somebody will say, I'd like to go back to that old, the interview from 5 or so years ago to hear some more backstory.
Actually, on YouTube, there's actually early sessions at the literary that Andy Timothy, from one of the owners of the literary, had posted. So you can actually see early sessions of us sitting there drawing with 6, 7, 8 people in the room drawing the model.
Yeah. This Friday. Who's posing this Friday?
This Friday, we got, I'm trying to think, Shepis, Andrea. I'm trying to think, it begins with an A.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Andrea. Andrea Shepis, who is the daughter of one of my favorite teachers, Tony Shepis. He was an amazing artist.
Yeah.
And she's going to pose right here this Friday.
Right, this Friday.
Yeah.
Well, we have what have I forgot to ask, or that we forgot to mention? 20 years is it's a marathon.
Yeah, we'll go as long as we can. People love it. It's funny for Lou Grasso and others, they joined us during COVID, and COVID was such a hard time. And he says, boy, it's something to do, something to look forward to, because you can't go out, you can't be with friends, and geez. Yeah. But even now, so many of my artists say they just look forward to, I look forward to Friday. I mean, it's great. I know Larry looks forward to Friday. Yeah. I mean, just a chance for that challenge as an artist. There, see if I can capture it, see if I can get it, see how I do, and just try to, do what you do.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you for what you've done for Cleveland, what you've done for 1,000 models over the years. We appreciate you guys joining us. We encourage you to share, and we hope that your name is drawn next week so we can get you on the list to model for this.
And And what we tell all our models at the end of the session is, it's been a pleasure, and the pleasure's all yours.
We'll see you guys next week.